Hello, and welcome to the Go There, Do That podcast. I'm Heather, and I'm here with Ethan, and today we're going to be talking about Lake Somerville State Park. There are there's two Lake Somerville State Parks. One of them is called Birch Creek Unit, and the other one is called Nails Creek Unit, but we're going to be talking about the Birch Creek Unit of Lake Somerville.
The difference between the two being like the north side and south side of the lake?
Yes, but they're like two separate parks because it's not like they, I don't think they like connect. Like whenever you like book and reserve and stuff, they're two different, listed as two different state parks.
Okay. Birch Creek.
Birch Creek.
If you're looking for the Nails Creek podcast.
We haven't been there yet.
We
can't speak to it.
Yeah. Okay.
So it is in Somerville, Texas. If you're anything like us, we'd never heard of that before. But it is about an hour and a half drive from the Austin area. And from DFW, it's like 3.5 hours. And from Houston, it's about an hour and a half. So for us, we live in the Austin area. It's a pretty short little drive. Very manageable for like a weekend, camping trip. So we've been there a couple of times because of that. They have 3 campgrounds, the Yopon Campground, Post Oak Campground, and Old Hickory Campground. We've only ever stayed in the Old Hickory Campground, which we really like because it has like pretty like nice secluded spots, like very shady, and then you have like a canopy of trees around you, and like kind of like a semicircle of a campsite. Like you can't really see your neighbors. But then the Post Oak Campground has less trees, but some of the sites have like lake views, like you're right on the lake. So that's a nice area too. We just haven't camped there. And then the Yopon area is a little more shady than the Post Oak area and has like far out lake views, but you're not like right on the water. But all the sites in like Old Hickory, you can't really see the lake from your campsites because the trees are so thick. And all 3 of those are like electric water campgrounds. So there's no like tent only areas or, RV only areas or whatever. It's all just kind of, you can camp there in your tent, but it has electricity and water. Sorry. Can you edit that out? My little...
Maybe.
Okay, cool. There's 102 sites, so it has like a decent amount of accommodations. But like I feel like it's like more than Bastrop, less than Inks Lake, as far as that goes. Their bathrooms are a little bit older, not updated, a little sketchy, just like state park bathrooms, but they'll do the trick. If you need to, use them, they're fine. You just might interact with a bug or two in there.
This is as of the end of 2024.
Yes, I've been there recently, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So.
They might improve later on in time, but...
Yeah, if you're watching this in 2028, I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah. And so as far as the vibes of Lake Somerville, just like the name says, there is a big old lake there. So that's probably like the number one factor that makes it a good little place to camp at. They do have canoe and kayak rentals there, but we've never used them before. I have been paddleboarding on the lake, not with you, but with Dana. And so it is like a pretty nice, like calm lake compared to like somewhere like Inks Lake or even like the like Travis Lake. It's kind of busy. Like those 2 lakes are pretty busy, but we've been to Lake Somerville like 3 different times. And at least 2 of those times I know we're like in a boating season. And at least the places we've gone off to are pretty like calm. Like you can just float around and chill and not be worried about a lot of waves from boats. But another good thing about Lake Somerville is that it does have a ton of hiking for a state park, especially compared to others. There's like over 40 miles of trails. which is pretty good. Like comparing to like Bastrop, it's like 7 or 9 or something like that. And Inks Lake, same, around 7 or 9 miles of trails. So pretty significant difference there. They do have one called the Lake Somerville Trailway, and it's 13.4 miles. We haven't done that one, but it literally connects the Lake Somerville Birch Creek unit to the Nails Creek unit. So that's kind of a cool. We might try that out one day.
They are connected.
Yeah. And then I didn't realize this, but when I was looking at the trail names, there's one called Alligator Loop Trail. And then I was like, oh, is that just like a cute little name, or is that like named after something? And sure enough, it said that sometimes you can see alligators lounging on the creek bed. So I did not know that there were potentially alligators in the area.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're in the lake or only in like that creek area, but
We should go there.
that's something I've learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think it might be in the Nails Creek area. So yeah, because some of them were labeled like birch and some of them just said trailway. So I don't really know if it's on the other side of the park or whatever, but we haven't been
But they're accessible.
on that one. But I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And then we have been on the Wilderness Run Trail, which is like about a 1.5 mile trail, but it just kind of like goes along the like kind of lake area. There's some places where you can see the lake from the trail, and there's some places where you're kind of in the thick of the trees. But that's like where we would go to like get off into the beach area of the lake. That's not like the main day use area. It is a really pretty drive. I guess that depends on where you're coming from, though. But for us, coming from like the Austin area, it's a bunch of backcountry roads, like with farmland. So it's a pretty drive, but also watch for deer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're out there.
Yeah. Like we've never gone out there and not been like, oh, that's a deer. Like had to slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say as far as like factual information about the park. So
Now let's get into the untruthful stuff about the park.
yeah. Well, like our experiences there, which are truthful, but not just like,
It's subjective.
hey, here's some information about
It's very subjective to talk about your experience of
personal
something.
experience. Yeah.
Because our memories there are very biased.
Right. Yeah. Like Lake Somerville is like up on a pedestal in my memory because I've had wonderful experiences there. Yeah.
Yeah. Like taking our dogs.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the first time we went camping with our dogs. That was where we went.
Yeah.
And it was very fun. O'Malley's first time in a lake, too.
Yes. Well, that was a part of the reason. It was like a mix because at the time I was basically booking what I could book because it was kind of crazy.
At the time? Oh, when
Yeah.
we first went in
Like
2020?
right. It was, yes, sorry. Because it was just like a very busy time. It was very hard to get a campsite. Like we only stayed one night the first time we went. But I remember being like, okay, it's very shady. So that's a plus because we were camping with the animals and I wanted to make sure it wasn't like too hot and uncomfortable for them because we were tent camping. And then also the lake was like a big draw because I was like, oh, we can maybe see if the dogs will swim because I really didn't know if they would or not. O'Malley, I would guess that he would. He swam in like a pool twice. But yeah, I wasn't sure if he would or not. If he was going to be too chicken or, you
It
know.
was a good time.
Yeah.
Our spot in particular, 99, is right next to the lake access trail.
Yes.
And that was cool, too. So, good spot. The next time we stayed there, it was pretty close to the water still, but
Yeah, I think we were still in the same area.
Yeah.
It just wasn't 99. And when I was there recently with Dana, I stayed in 97.
oh.
So it was like right there. Yeah.
So, yeah, the lake is never too far away. Though.
No. It's walking. We walked from our campsite down to the water with our paddle boards.
Well, that's worse. It's
blown
worse
up.
with your paddle boards.
It was worse, but it was
Blown up.
we did it, you know, so it wasn't very far. I don't know if
see.
I would do it again. Next time I'll just blow them up at the shore, but like it's definitely a walkable distance, especially without a paddleboard.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, Lake Somerville, it's kind of a hidden gem.
I think
It
so,
seems
yeah.
it's out of the way. It's not close to any big major roads that we've took to get there. So there's less people. It's not like it's less accessible because it's still pretty close
Right.
to places, but it's I don't know. Not many people know about it.
Right. Yeah. I feel like people have asked before, like, what are some of your like favorite state parks that you've been to? And I always bring up Lake Somerville. Like it's on my list, and most of the time, no one's heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. It's really good. One of the things we've noticed while we were there was a lot of every couple times we went, there was a lot of insect.
Yeah. There's a lot
activity
of buggies.
because it's very thick, as we've said, with all the foliage,
Yes.
flora and fauna.
Yeah. There will be spider webs, caterpillars.
Those little silkworm things. They
Yeah.
would just make these little silky. They would kind of drop onto your head
Yeah.
if you're under a tree.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, depending on your tolerance level, it wasn't anything.
But there will be, yeah, there's bugs there
There
for
were-
sure.
Yeah, right up in there.
Yeah. So what did you think, like, our first trip to Somerville? Like, what was your impression upon arrival, I guess?
It was nice. The dogs were calm. You were commenting at the time, saying this is nice. Like it's very relaxing entering. It's you already feel like you're going out of the way, away from
Yeah, it feels more
civilization.
away than I think the other two had felt.
And then you have the thought in your mind, oh, this is secluded and safe, and you're not bumping up against your neighbors in the spots that you get.
Yeah.
And so that feels even more like this is your little piece of nature all on its own. And you can focus on actually camping. I think that was a relief for me
Yes.
coming up, was like, well, yeah, this is an easy place to be calm at.
Yes.
And
especially our first time camping with the dogs, because we weren't sure how
Yes.
calm it would be. Like, yeah.
and I did comment on the bugs. We did tent camp, but didn't notice any. Like we slept
Yeah.
close to the ground, but it's not like we were attacked by anything. I don't remember any of that.
I don't really even remember. The first time we went, I don't even remember. It's just like since we've been back, where there was, I was like, oh, there's a lot of bugs here.
And so you can go to a place in a different season and there's less
Right.
of something or more of something. And
Yeah.
that happens at places too. Like, oh, it's full of bugs, but actually that's just the time of year when they are active and
Yeah.
out.
And to be fair, like if you're camping, there probably will be bugs, you know?
I guess. I guess so.
Yeah.
It was noticeable, but yeah, there's bugs everywhere you go.
Yeah.
So what is there to complain about, really? Yeah. But my first impression was, this is good. You felt very safe.
Yes. Yes. I do remember that.
That's a relief.
Yeah. Like
why it
that
was
well, and I think like, yeah, the campsite we were at was more like private. It's like a semicircle of trees around you. And so you're in your campsite by yourself unless somebody literally walks by your campsite on the road. And then, you know, they just peek in for that little section that they're walking through, and it's not a big deal. So then I felt more comfortable, like, figuring out camping stuff, but also, like, humoring you with, like, the video stuff you were wanting to do with what we were doing. Because I was like, okay, there's no one, like, watching. So at the time it was like, okay, this is less embarrassing.
Oh.
Because there's not, like, people watching, wondering, like, what are you doing with all those cameras?
Look around you. It's nature. That's what I'm doing with these cameras.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
That's true.
Anytime you're outside,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
always
but
have an excuse to carry a camera.
I
Right.
agree with that. Yeah. But just at the time for me, I was like, okay, this is nice because I didn't have that in the back of my head to be like worried about as you were like recording stuff and we're like getting stuff ready.
Yeah,
And then it was good for
yeah.
the dogs too because they didn't have to worry about like who's in the campsite next to us. Do they have dogs too? You know, I want the kids to come over and pet me. Like, you know, yeah. So
Yes.
then they were more calm than they might have been in another situation. It just like felt like stars kind of aligned, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why we are so biased against Lake Somerville.
Yeah.
That's why we had to say the real facts first.
I guess we're biased for, not against.
Not against it.
Yeah.
We're all for Lake Somerville.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And the lake is like got in and swam-ish in it.
Oh,
you know? Yeah.
You can wade out.
And I'm kind of
Pretty
picky
far.
about like the type of lake water I'll get into.
Quality of lakes.
Yeah. I would say I think it was like felt more like less icky than like Inks Lake water. A little more clear than that, but I also got in the Inks Lake water and it was fine. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're taking your dog swimming, they'll love it. And because it's like also a beachy type area. So like that's better for O'Malley usually, because we've been to some places that have like kind of a rocky area and he just like slips and slides and it's
Not
way
good
more, stressful. So it's like the nice little gradual beach area is really good there. And then there's beach access all the way around. So you can go like kind of find your own little spot along that trail, the Wilderness Run Trail, and then just kind of go have your own little swimming area. Or you can go to the day use area, which is like beautiful too. But yeah.
Also good. That's a little peninsula. Sticks out. So
Yeah.
that's probably where they encourage you to go for picnics and
Right.
whatnot.
What was your favorite moment from the first time you camped there?
Oh, probably when Danny walks out to, like, Danny doesn't like water. And she doesn't like baths. She just avoids water of all sorts. We didn't have her for the first 6 years of her life. This is our other Labrador we have. But Danny is very sweet and timid. And the first day we got there, she didn't swim at all. It was all O'Malley jumping around, playing fetch. But then the morning we were leaving, you got in the water, and then Danny you just called her, and she followed you out. And I'm really glad I got that
Me too.
moment.
Well, it was a
camera.
really special. It was a really special moment. Yeah, because I was like, oh, she loves me so much that she will come out in the water, even though she's not a fan. But if it means she's coming to me and getting pets, like that's just what she lived for. She was just my little soul dog.
Yeah, it was precious. And O'Malley having fun is always good.
Yes, like just watching back the footage of him just like frolicking and like swimming along and just like biting at the water, and he was just in heaven there.
Having a ball.
Right. And so I think all that together, it was like, okay, we can keep camping. I want to keep camping. Because, I mean, that was like a pivotal moment in that idea, because it's like, okay, well, if we decide we want to camp all the time, but then our dogs don't like it and don't do well, then what? You know, do we leave them at home every time we go? Do we bring them along even though they hate it? You know, like, do we stop going because it's uncomfortable and annoying, or we're like, it stresses us out to think about? And so it was a really pivotal moment in like, okay, we can do this and we can do it with the dogs. And yeah, it made it more sustainable. Yeah.
We'd take them to places we think they'd like to. We
Yes.
didn't take them everywhere with us,
Yes.
but we did like to bring them
And
when we could.
the reason we waited until this time to take them with us is because we had never been camping before the first 2 times we'd been camping. And so we were like, well, we need to figure out and make sure we can like take care of ourselves first before we drag y'all into this. And I think that made a huge difference too, because if they would have been camping the first couple of times, I think our anxieties were probably higher. And then that would have like transferred into them, and then they would have been more anxious and stressed out, and then we would have gotten more anxious and stressed out, and then so it happened how it was supposed to happen, I guess.
Well, we had to take care of ourselves before we took care of them.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
That's all it is. But Lake Somerville is a wonderful destination for all your lake summertime fun.
Mm-hmm.
Any time needs,
Yeah.
It's a good place
Mm-hmm.
to go reset.
Yeah.
So on a weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's like what, yeah, I felt really like at peace there the first time we were there.
Mm-hmm.
And other times. Because I'm remembering we've been there again in the van
Mm-hmm.
and we had Smoosh.
Right, our cat.
Yes. I don't quite remember if that was his first camping trip or if his first camping trip was... It was either at
That
Lake
would be
Somerville or if it might have been at like Fairfield Lake.
We will know in time because I'm going
Right.
back through all the footage now.
Right. When we get to Smoosh's first camping trip, I guess we'll know.
That'd be crazy.
But it might be. Because I remember he's been there.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't remember if that was his first camping trip.
We will answer that question
Yeah.
soon enough for ourselves.
Because I think we took him before we got the like little bubble backpack. And that was at Fairfield.
Okay, Fairfield Lake.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I think it might have been his first too. But
That'd be crazy.
maybe not. Maybe not. But
Well,
yeah.
what about you? What else you got to say about Somerville? You got any good vibes from it?
Yeah, I mean, great vibes. It's fun to swim out. It's not like far from if you're in the Austin area, I guess.
Well, really, how much can you say about Danny
Oh,
and how wonderful she is?
yeah. Well, I think she's probably the reason we kept camping with the dogs because she just like instantly transitioned and she was like, oh yeah, like I like camping. I can just sit here and be calm and not be, like that. This is fine.
O'Malley was a lot more anxious than she was. So we were just following her example.
Yes.
Because if O'Malley was the only one and he was just like he
Right.
would cry and whine whenever we
Yes.
left him across the campsite.
Right. Like if we would have just had to hit, like say we didn't have Danny also at that time or whatever. O'Malley's energy at that time, I might have been like, I'm good. I don't know. And then, which I mean, that's on us because he hasn't been camping before. You know, you have to like expose your dog to different things for them to be used to it and like it. But yeah, her energy, she was just so like calm and sweet. And I was like, well, I want to keep bringing her camping with us because she's like doing perfect and like is bringing me calm. And then it's like something, to just, I don't know. She was just really fun to have around, period. And then, so then I was like, well, I don't want to like leave O'Malley by himself and only take Danny camping because that's mean. And I don't want to leave Danny camping just because he's a lot. So then it like forced us to just keep trying with him. And eventually he, did great. Like he's the best camping dog now, like has very similar energy to her when she like was, camping that first time now. But it took some time to get there,
Yeah.
But she was just instantly like, just for it. Yeah.
I think Danny answered a lot of questions that we didn't even know we had yet. A very simplistic approach to life.
Yeah.
It's just like, guys,
She's
what's
like,
the big deal?
you're doing okay.
Yeah, I'll go into the water, sure.
Yeah.
Just because I love you. And it's like,
Yeah.
there it is. You overcome your fears for everyone you love.
Yeah.
That's Danny.
Yeah.
That's our dog. Yeah, she's nice. Anyways, I think that concludes.
Pretty much sums it up. Yeah.
It's a wonderful place.
Yeah. That's all I got to say about it.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. And always remember the phrase, go there, do that. It keeps popping up in my head. So I have to say it over and over again, too. But yeah, we'll see y'all next time.